I would like to call the Danville Board of Education regular meeting for August 28, 2017 to order. Welcome, everyone. First item on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes. Or excuse me, to approve the meeting agenda.
I move that we approve the meeting agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And then moving on to our presentations, are there any board member comments?
I'll do it quickly. We have really had a great start of this school year, and I have to say outstanding job to all of our administrators, everybody, and those who are new, welcome aboard. But the cap off the beginning of the year was the Dr. Bate, the dedication for Dr. Bate to make it official, John W. Bate Middle School, and that was just awesome, great thing for us to be doing. And Sherry, good job, got it all together for us, and worked out fantastically. So that's all I got.
Well, I'll just ditto those sentiments from Steve as well. I know there were a lot of folks involved in getting things ready at Tolliver, as well as just so many other areas. I think there's so many great things as you're pulling up even to Danville High School, so many things that look so new and nice. And I know it's a lot of work on everybody's part to get things ready. So I hope it's been a good week and a half for everybody getting started. So thank you. At this point, I will turn things over to Dr. Luck.
I have a few extra remarks because this is the first time we've had a public conversation in a while where I've gotten a chance to brag about some of the things we've been doing. So since we met last, we have had the highest finish of a forensics team in the history of Danville schools nationally. Our academic team at the high school had the highest position at the end of the summer of any team in Kentucky. 2 of our students were named Scholar Athletes of the Year by the Advocate Messenger. 1 of our students will be competing for Miss Teen Kentucky, and another hiked the Appalachian Trail all over the summer. Our middle school team also finished second nationally in their academic competition. Talked about the renaming of Bate, which was a tremendous event for everybody to be able to acknowledge both history and future. And then we had the district kickoff, where we had 3 students come back and talk to the entire district staff about what Danville Schools has contributed to their identity and their creation and who they have become as young adults moving forward. Those videos we hope to have online here shortly because they were really pretty impressive stories I'd like for everybody to see. We also were able to do a video with our alumni, staff alumni, talking about what the Danville Schools have done for them, specifically thanking the key members of Danville staff, which included everything from cafeteria staff to custodian, bus driver, teacher, administrator, and coach. If you've not had a chance to look, please go online and do so. We hope to collect more of those stories, not just by alumni in the Danville schools, but far beyond as well. And we'll be contacting them for that part too. Tolliver, as you know, opened up. We've got folks on the renovated side. And then from that, we've all had witness of eclipse. We now have a much better idea as to what 96% blockage of sun is. It's actually still fairly bright. So all of our worries about whether or not kids would be seen on sidewalks walking home, whether buses in the level of darkness, we know now 7 years from now when it happens again, how to be prepared, and we hope that everyone has held on to their classes because at least we know that every pair that we had was officially certified, and therefore we will not have that issue for a second time around. But excited to think that we were open and able for students to be able to engage with that with our staff for such a unique event. We've opened up the school year successfully, having more students enrolled than ever in the Danville schools, which is always a great compliment to our school system as more folks see great reason to have their students with us, and we're thankful for everyone that does. So it's been a hustling beginning of the year when you think of all of those events combined, but that only sets the pace for us to have a great school year. Obviously, everyone will be paying attention to football Friday nights as we take on Bull County and hope to play that. Well, we will play that We'll play that game at home and hopefully run for 2 in a row.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the personnel notifications. It's just for information only, nothing.
That's correct.
To be reviewed, so obviously any questions there, just let them know. Okay. Moving on to the minutes of the previous meeting.
motion to approve of the meeting minutes from July 10th, 2017 and July 24th, 2017.
Second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, move on down to reports. Staffing.
Staffing is up first. These are the items we discussed in work session, where schools essentially are spending remaining Title I dollars. We've been able to shift more of our Title I funding to schools, which has given them increased budgets to do more things for kids.
I make a motion for the approval of the staffing report as submitted.
Second.
Questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Mr. Dean, the finance report, the financial statement.
You've been given the financial statement for July of 2017. We started the new fiscal year off with a balance of $6,737,771.16. We took in receipts for the month of July of $1.741 million. We had claims or accounts payables for the month of July of $1.544 million. Payroll of $289,664. Total expenditures of just slightly over $1.8 million. Left us a balance at the end of July of $6,644,608.59. And you can look and see how that compares to where we were at this time last year. That's roughly an increase of about $384,000. And then you can see down below that how the reconciliation with outstanding checks, and then also how those funds are broken down by each particular fund that we maintain. The general fund cash balance of $4,103,000, and then we have assigned maintenance funds of $747,000, and sick leave escrow of $200,000, which belong to the general fund. And then you can see how the different funds break down below that, also totaling the $6.644 million. Down at the bottom, we've been trying to keep just a kind of a running total on our certificate of deposit that we have for the Tolliver construction project. You can see for the month of July, we drew $609,000. I've also got updated on there for the month of August, it's $528,000. So right now, of the $14.3 million, we've drawn $10.7, which leaves us right now at a current balance of $3,562,000. And you can also see on the right-hand side, as of through July, we've earned a total of $98,426.86 in interest on that certificate, which goes back into the funds that we can use. Along with that synopsis, I've given you a general fund report for the revenues and the expenditures for the month. You can see what actually we took in the month of July. Of course, the big one is our SEEK, then just a few other small amounts, interest, things like that. Also, we can get a comparison for year-to-date, which for the month of July, that is the year-to-date, and then also the year-to-date for last year. On the expense side, it's broken down by function. You can see the instruction things for the month, and then also a comparison of year-to-date, and then a comparison of what we have left available in the budget, and then last year-to-date also kind of get a comparison on what we did through this time last year. So you can see down at the bottom, we had the total general fund cash balance of $5,051,000, and the two things that are broken out separately would left us with the $4.103 million.
Hey, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Well, how much is our SEEK for a year?
About $6.6 million.
The budget department in Frankfurt came out today that one of the possible remedies to take care of the pension downfall is a $500 million decrease to SEEK.
Isn't that nice? Put the burden on the school district for pension liability. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's pretty serious. And then also they're going to come up with the funding for the charter schools. How are you going to do all that? So,
I don't have an answer for that right now. We'll just, you know, that's going to be those things where we're going to have to just listen closely to what they're doing and see if they really are going to do that, which I find it hard to believe that they can cut our funding for pensions. They're going to have to find revenue somewhere, but I don't think that's the place to look for.
yeah, great. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve of the financial support as submitted.
Second.
Any other questions for Paul before we move on? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Okay, so moving on to the payment of invoices.
Okay, as we discussed in the working session, our total bills for the month of July were $1,544,877.11. Just to kind of give you some highlights on things included in that, our Tolliver project, $609,299.52. Then we also had payments for the high school and John W. Bates Middle School roofing, totaling $207,327.13. We had bond interest and principal payments due. If you'll notice on there, those are written as U.S. Bank for our primary bonds, and then we also have Huntington National Bank, which handles our KISTA loans. So you'll see payments totaling $130,950.56. Just some other things that we for the month, we had some licenses that we had for the district for various things. Lexia $18,900, Dreambox $18,000, Compass maintenance support $4,700. Insurance was a big one as this comes due in the first month of the year. A total of $297,175.97, which breaks down our property, our fleet, umbrella, and bonds are $125.72. Our workers' comp is $165,000, and then we also had insurance for Tolliver. I know somebody brought it up. It's listed on there as terrorism or risk insurance. That's not the case. We're not paying for that. That is a separate policy for Tolliver until the construction is finished, and then we can add them onto our regular policy. That's a separate issue. So in case something happens during the construction process, so that's insured. That's what that is. And that total $11,437. We also purchased our Chromebooks for the district, a total of $88,468. A few other things, we purchased a soccer scoreboard for $6,630, and then some charging carts for Tolliver at $43,91.93. We had some asbestos removal in the district at $1,550. So you can see a lot of things going on in a usually a slow month, but this time it didn't happen to be. So a lot of things totaled 1.411 million of the 1.544 million. So that left us with $133,212.49 for our routine expenditures like maintenance, food service, things like that.
I make a motion for the approval of the payment of invoices totaling $1,544,877.11 as presented.
Second.
Questions for Paul? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, and moving on to the tax rate.
So the tax rate is, we have, I think, one of the most unique opportunities that you'll find anywhere statewide. I'm recommending with Paul, we worked on this, can't talk and see. To me, folks, recommend taking the compensating rate for both real estate and for personal property. By taking the compensating rate, which would be no tax increase, we are actually giving taxpayers of Danville a decrease in the real estate tax rate. Actually of 1.0, not 0.5, correct? I believe this is written correctly.
With the compensating rate plus the 0.5 that they're allowing us for exonerations, for recovery of last year exonerations, It's totaled of 94.5, which is actually a 1 cent decrease over last year.
So rarely does ever anybody make a tax cut. This board has that opportunity to do so. And we feel like that we can do this and continue to increase services to our schools and to our students just as we've done the past year. I think from the taxpayer standpoint, we should let them know that this is not likely something that we can do every year, but to seize this opportunity and to give back to so many folks who have given to us for so many years to make this district what it is a unique and special opportunity for this district.
I've got to agree. I've got to thank this board and Dr. Look and Paul and all those involved. The fiscal management of our school district is top notch. It's not been in this, I mean, it's in great shape. And for this board to be able to commit over $500,000 back into the schools, 73% of all of our monies go to the schools. I mean, it's a tremendous thing that's going on, and we are healthy, we are viable, we've got great staff. Things are really looking up. Dr. Look, thank you very much for your direction in this and your leadership. Really makes a big difference. Comfort level, I can go home and just feel so good about what we are able to accomplish in this district and have been, and our future is so bright. And it's been bright, but it's just really fantastic to be able to report this. So thanks to everybody involved. So I'd like to take Dr. Look's recommendation and make a motion that we take the compensating rate for both real estate at 94.5, which includes a 0.5 recovery of prior year exoneration, and personal property at 95.5. The real estate reflects a decrease of 0.5 from last year's rate. Actually, point, yeah, a decrease of 1 cent. We need to change that.
We'll fix it.
Second.
Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right.
So we need the applause soundtrack to play.
Yeah, wish we did.
Okay, moving on to our fund transfer.
So with our healthy financial status and the way in which we have been able to put more money into schools, we've also been catching up in our facilities needs. As you saw in the work session, we talked about some of the different projects and things that we'd like to get done coming from a different series of sources of funds. We are looking to create a pool of $1 million in assigned funds for facilities work. That would be a transfer of approximately $250,000. Paul's got the exact number. That would give us $1 million to work with for facilities projects that ultimately we would be able to designate those funds and essentially pay in cash for those things to get done, and therefore we can move right away into making those happen.
You want the exact amount that we're looking to transfer?
Sure.
It's $252,306.84.
And that'll be reflected in the record.
Yes.
I make a motion for the approval to transfer funds in the amount of $252,306.84 from the general fund in order to accrue $1 million in assigned funds for facility work.
Second.
Questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you, Paul.
So here's how we want to spend that money. The assigned funds. Those $1 million would go towards replacing the upper bleachers at Danville High School, the column replacement and front facade restoration at Tolliver, electrical upgrade at our football stadium, and general restoration work and renovation, which would include concession stand bathrooms, signage, so forth, as part of the project. Roughly all of that totals about $1 million. Now, I say that knowing that if we get into this work, and it turns out that something's going to take longer or shorter, and we realize then that, it'd be better to put this project off to make this one happen, we would come back to the board and say we'd like to shift it from assigned funds to this project and back and forth. If this gets the ball rolling over things that we all know that we need to make happen, and we can see now with that money available how fast we can get those projects underway.
Did we get any more numbers? I mean, this is just the columns at Tolliver, or did we get any more of this work session?
nothing more specific than we had before, that roughly we're figuring about $500,000 of restoration work to come, which includes the columns.
And that includes everything that Eric presented in the working session, not just the columns, but all of the painting.
So that, okay, that's what it
All
was.
the signs.
Okay.
And then on the stadium restoration and renovation, I mean, that's, you said bathrooms and all of that. Will that be able to take place with football season and season?
It will depend upon which projects we're after and when. So whether we do it in bits and pieces as the season rolls on, which things have to wait until everyone's out of the stadium, is what now we can start working on with contractors. Chrissy, you've already talked to some folks about something, right?
First thing we can do is architect.
Right, okay. And so how does that process? I mean, we have to bid this, what's the process for the?
We have to hire a contractor, hire an architect first,
Okay,
and then work with the architect on setting, getting the bids out for specific things that we want to do. There's a couple of things that we can do that will involve an architect, like new goalposts.
okay.
We can do that now.
I make a motion to approve of the following projects to be paid via assigned funds: the DHS upper bleacher replacement, the ELT column replacement and front facade restoration, stadium electrical upgrade, and a stadium restoration and renovation.
Second.
Any further questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right. Moving on to the revised 2017-18 Certified Evaluation Plan.
Many of you had a chance to meet Wes Cornett, our Director of Schools, but if not, I'd like to call him forward to walk us through our new CEP. Sit here.
Many of the mayor might be aware, but the new 2017 Senate Bill 1 allowed a lot of freedom for school boards and schools, for that matter, to have freedoms in not only assessment but also the evaluation system, formerly known as PGS. And before, it was a very detailed, very rigid system of a lot of procedures, a lot of policies, and based on formulas and how you arrive at the final evaluation for everybody from the superintendent on down. And with a lot of talk, being a former 19-year high school principal, and even a lot of classroom teachers felt that, was that truly beneficial? Was it helping the education be better in Kentucky? And I think that there was that answer was no. So with the commissioner's blessing and his recommendation, they did come up with pretty much of a do what you want to policy within reason. And I'm using that in quotes. As long as you're using the Danielson framework. Danielson's framework is based on Charlotte Danielson's work in teacher growth and improvement. And so as long as you include that, you can rewrite your policy without state approval. So coming on board new in the position, that was one of the first things that we talked to the administrators about, the building principles, that I felt that needed to be done. And I don't think that it had been approved or had been a 50-50 committee here, met in 3 or 4 years. And so we talked to the principals first, went to the 50-50 committee. I redid the whole entire policy pretty much from scratch. And it wasn't about this thick, about that thick. Took out a lot of if-then statements. For example, if a teacher was low-high in this area and high-low in this area, then they are that. Those things are gone. There are no more student growth goals. You don't have to give pre- and post tests. They're not formulas anymore. It's based upon a true, and again, as a building principle at heart, that and a teacher on what happens that takes place daily in those 175, 176 school days. So we resoundingly agreed with that. There were a few additions to the template or the recommended model. And so the 50 committee met, they agreed with that wholeheartedly. There was not a high school representation on the 50-50 committee, that to have happened, we would have had to have an entire new vote. Ms. Frost agreed, and I think the principals agreed, really myself, felt that let's do this, and let's let every certified teacher look at it. And they did with, I got no feedback from the staff, other than thank you, we appreciate it. And so what we have is in front of you electronically as the draft proposal that we're putting in front of you to approve for at least this current year, and hopefully from here on out, they will allow us to keep a very workable, teacher and administrator friendly growth model for our tuition. Any questions you have?
Going through this, it's quite comprehensive no matter what, even with all the others being thrown out. I found interesting was the teacher's self-evaluation part of it. How much time do you think is going to be involved in this process? I mean, I know that, but I mean, the other was very time consuming, and this one seems to still have that opportunity to still be that way.
The time I think you're referring to, Mr. Decker, is we feel as administrators valuable time. The pre-conference and the post-conference were times that both I and my teachers enjoyed. It was something that was reflective. It was a time for them to be reflective, for me to be reflective, and I think our building administrators feel the same way right now. Our teachers, the day that on the 11th of August, when we met, I met with every certified teacher that day. They were very much in favor of that, and they liked that idea of streamlining it and making those conversations, not having to worry about, oh my gosh, this September 15th, I got to create this test, which may or may not mean anything. Now I can actually work with my administrator on a good, here's my self-reflection, write a really good, strong growth plan that focuses on 1, 2, 3 standards that I can work on, that the administrators are going to monitor sometimes daily. We're asking them to do a lot of walkthroughs this year for the first time, where they're going to be in every teacher's classroom at least once a week, not more, so they know what's happening in that, other than a few evaluations formally for the year. So we feel the time will be more valuable and will be taken away from instruction or planning.
Will every teacher be evaluated every year, or is there still the basis if you have so many years in that you're only evaluated every 3 years?
Answer to your former is yes. Every teacher will be evaluated at least once every year.
Okay.
Tenure teachers will be given a formal evaluation once a year. Non-tenure will be 3 times a year. K-tip teacher will be 9 times that first year.
Formal observations once a year for tenure, formal observations for non-tenure 3 times a year. Summative evaluation for tenure will be once every 3 years.
3 years. So summative is where we compile all of the data into and et cetera. So,
I just wanted to get I was reading all this and I thought, wow, there's a lot to keep up with. But I think it's a great evaluation tool. I mean, like you said, it's 2/3 less, I guess. I mean, pretty close to that.
So as far as us looking through it and approving, I guess tonight, this draft, what appears here, is it something that you would bring back to us at some point, or is this just kind of it for
this will be,
this year?
if you do choose to approve it, it will be, again, actually going to affect tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
We make the administrators and teachers aware of that.
Okay.
And then what will happen is that the building principals will then meet with their staff. We've already met our statutory 30-day that you will be evaluated based upon this criteria, these standards. They will then re-meet with them and explain to them that there will be a few procedural changes. Other than that, your formative instrument will not change. What you have in front of you,
Okay.
that's not different really than before. The timelines will not change. There again will be no central codes. There'll be no peer evaluations anymore. And the student voice will not count towards an evaluation, but we have increased that where every one of your students will
So when will the student voice surveys be done?
In the past, it's always been done in the spring, through March and April, and we're probably try to do the same thing. But we'll have freedom to write that, change the one that the state approved a few years ago. And there will be some, it's somewhat, and Ms. Kelly had a great comment on that. Some is written from the negative. I don't like that. We're an administrator, a parent, 3 children in school, and as a teacher, and my wife's a teacher, so it needs to be written a little bit better. We're going to work on that this year.
I also view the possible issues that could come up between an elementary student, or, looking at how do I evaluate my teacher because the maturity level's not there, versus going into middle and high. So how's that going to be looked at? Because it could be that they take an opportunity.
And again, it's that the evaluative part of that tool is gone. It'll be simply FYI, you can use this information to impact your instruction in a more positive way. Take the information as you see fit and use that professionally as a classroom.
Is it going to be included in the record?
It will not be included in the record.
That was the only thing I was concerned
Now, the
about.
building principal would have access to that, and they'll talk about it, but it will not be ineffectively used to evaluate, to assign an evaluation score per se, or a term to say you're ineffective, or you're developing, or you're accomplished based upon a student voice, very subjective survey.
I was just thinking that the same questions you would ask surely couldn't be the same between a high schooler and a third grader.
Surprisingly, some of them are the same.
Is it across all grade levels?
Was given one, or was it given K? It was given K through 12, was it?
And is that the table on the board?
We are. We want to do that. And again, the teachers wanted that.
I didn't know if we would start at kindergarten. Questions?
So the 50-50 committees you're aware is half administration, half certified staff, all of which are elected by their teachers, so they are the assigned representative body to do this work. So we've taken it through committee, we've used our opening district day to walk through personally every certified employee in the district. So we've gone exponentially above and beyond what is the normal requirement for an adjustment to a CEP
Plus,
plan.
sent electronically to every certified members.
So there's been lots of opportunities for feedback, critique, ideas. To have a consensus this quickly is important.
So you said the 50-50 committee hadn't met in a while, so were these existing members, or this is a newly elected?
They were the existing members. We go through the process.
They actually
of
had,
the state.
because remember last year we had you approved the PGS plan. We actually had that. So there were some changes in that group by just staffing turnover and so forth, but we actually had that recently.
There were 6 and 6, like we and myself were just ad hoc committee, we were not voting members.
So we're looking for action on this tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve of the revised 2017-18 certified evaluation plan.
Second.
Questions? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the fiscal 2018 district funding assurances.
So this gives me an opportunity to introduce you to Olivia Gerald, our state and federal grants manager, who we're going to force to come up and sit behind a microphone, who is, in doing so, has been dutifully researching everything related to our state and federal money. With that comes a rather large document of district funding assurances, where I'm going to steal your thunder, and essentially the document says that you're going to spend the money in the way in which the law intended it to be. So you've seen the document, lots of stuff. Olivia, say hi, good to see you, and so forth. Other comments, thoughts they need to know in considering approval of district funding assurances?
It's amazing, 43 pages.
It's a very long document.
Ask Dr. Look how many times they had to click a little drop down and click that he agrees with each of those.
That's right.
statements.
Admittedly, there were times in which I wanted to click disagree just to see if anybody would catch
Just
it,
see if I would, yeah.
but I didn't feel that was.
I hate to tell you, but between this and Hill Street Blues, I kind of wandered to the Hill Street Blues. So, but actually, it's a huge document, so I guess you had a lot of research involved in this.
I did a lot of research on the, you should see the Title I alone handbook. It's like 300 pages or something.
You're going to see more and more of this as the state provide, within Senate Bill 1, as more rights and powers are given back to school districts, more and more the state will ask for assurances that you're doing these things. So that way they can say, yes, we know that this is happening in any school district because they signed this form and said, yes, it's happening.
Yeah.
So that's where the density comes in, because so much has gotten packed in, probably more to come.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the fiscal 2018 district funding assurances as submitted.
Second.
Any final questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Motion passes, thank you. And then we will move on to a policy revision. This is the first reading for this particular policy.
This policy is reflective of our conversation regarding graduation requirements. And we have essentially established that the board will have a graduation policy that is standard with state law. Schools have the right to adjust standards above and beyond what the board sets as the minimum. So what we're doing is just reestablishing the floor, knowing that Danville High School will always continue to ask for a great deal of rigor and opportunities for students and reward accordingly.
All right, so this just counts as the first reading. We'll have to bring that back.
Yes,
Back in
it'll be-
August, so there's no.
Yeah. And if you look around, this is much more in line with, it's actually a little different for a school board to establish a policy different than the state minimums previously. If you're around most districts in the state, this is the policy, it's all for KSB language and so forth, because it's always been up to the local school and the SBDM to establish anything above and beyond what the minimum floor would be. So what you're approving is what you will see in basically every school district in the state of Kentucky.
No vote, but any questions or discussion on that before we move on? Okay. Next policy revision is actually second reading. So this first one is the expense reimbursement.
And again, we are looking to clean up the way in which we handle just some of our simple ways in which we participate. Essentially, you're going to get an allocation for as a food per day. It's based upon a meal breakdown, but if you wish to skip a meal and put it towards another one, that's now allowable. We've also, more importantly, set up a way in which we can be consistent across all staff that are interested in pursuing presentation opportunities for conferences. There are lots of opportunities all over the world, and it was difficult to figure out how you say the one teacher is accepted in Honolulu and another one who's accepted in Corbin, and figure out what's fair and then trying to divide up those systems. So what you see there is a statement that says we'll be reimburses anyone up to $500, and that can be no matter where they would choose to present. If it is a district-directed or district-sponsored event, the district says, hey, we want to take a team and present such and such, that will not count against this budget. This is for the individual.
Okay. Take a motion.
Make a motion to approve of policy revision 3.125 and 3.225 as submitted.
Second.
Any final questions? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, moving right along to the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented without discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We have anybody here from the public? Nope. All right, and no need for an executive session, is that correct? No? No, okay. All right. Take
I move that we end this meeting.
Wow, is this like
Second.
record time? Yeah, I know. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.